Hello everybody and welcome back to Automation. We're not going to put anything in Beam today or even build a car. I just really wanted to sit down and look at some of the things that we have going on. So I'm going to go ahead and open up the sled here, the Hyper Owl, and let's take a talk about its engine and tuning philosophies. So I think I have the highest horsepower that's drivable with no edits. It appears to be that way, so we'll go with that. So, but this is not like too awful important for what we're actually trying to do today. So I have 4,530 horsepower. It can squeeze a little bit more, but then it starts to get a little funky. So how do we do this? Well, as you can see here on the right, we're running at 15% 9. So the car is designed around this idea of having the most amount of horsepower, and that's it. We didn't build it for anything else. It has the most amount of horsepower, but it is also the most drivable. As you can see, I'm RPM limited at 7,600. So we go here to fuel. I might get a little bit more. Nope. See, not even worth doing. Okay, because we're already at our max at 7,600 RPM. So why am I going to increase the RPM by 100 and have reliability issues, right? So anything in dark orange is going to cause you a little bit of a headache whenever you go into Beam. So we kind of left it like this. So the reason I didn't go over like building up this engine and then building the car and then testing the car and is these things take a while. This was a lot of if I retard the timing, can I get one more? Nope. See the horsepower drops, right? And torque drops too. Well, what if I lean it just out? Oh, now we have some knocking. What if I pull a little timing out of it? Okay, we got a little bit more, but now our pistons are starting to hurt because our torque's too high. So we're at the limit of what the game can actually do. It's either piston speed or piston torque. That's our big deal. I don't worry too much about the like the connecting rods in the crank. They've never been too much of an issue unless we really start zinging the RPM. And if we want to, we can kind of watch this engine here and kind of see what she does. So we're just gonna go up through here. We're all green, right? We're 1,000 horsepower. We're at almost peak torque, and you can see the compressor is starting to get right in the way. I need to turn down my volume there. It's gonna crash into the game, or into me speaking as well. So we're at peak torque, just about peak torque right now. So the compressor's starting to get in the way. It's going to be the greatest restriction, but it's as big as it can get. So we'll go a little bit up, and you can see the compressor is the big thing in the way right now. So this is the only thing that's in the way. There's not really a way to get past this because it's just restricting the amount of flow. I think the way that the game would go about this, and looking at what the compressor does, I don't know how it actually does the math or anything for it, but it's in the way. We're basically overspeeding it, so we're off of its island. If you ever seen a flowchart for a turbo, there's efficiency islands. So we're at the point that the turbo is too small. Basically, is what it comes down to. So this is the theoretical max that a person could do. You're gonna squeeze a little bit more power out here and there. But if you guys seen the last video, drivability of mine is pretty good. It's not too peaky. Like, it comes on, it has 4,000 horsepower. What are you going to do? It has 4,500 horsepower. What do you do with that? You can't make it to the stick. So it's just, it's something that just exists. So, yeah. So what I wanted to do is just kind of walk through everything, and build an engine, right? So we're gonna name this one the what's a good one? Let's just call it the Duke, and we're just gonna go regular stuff. We're gonna build this in 2020. The things that we're going to talk about will apply to all the years, so it's not too big of a deal. And we're going to call this the Duke 350T. Sure, why not? Because that sounds cool. We might use this later. V90 or 90 degree V8 is your standard square bore American engine. V60s are more European, or you can get into the VR6, which is even a more narrow plane than that. So we're just going to build small V8. We're not going to go for a race here. Let's just go, nothing too fancy. No, this is like Ford heads. No. Let's just do push rod. And we'll do aluminum heads. We're like a 4-liter V8. And the motor is technically called square. Okay, so this is what determines the characteristics of the engine. Do we want to make this torquey? So a bigger stroke and smaller piston bore diameter, which would be called under square. Okay, so more stroke than piston diameter, where these are the same. Or do we want something more high revvy that feels like really, really nice to drive? So things like the DZ302, which is a Chevrolet engine, not a Ford 302, was over square. The piston diameter was greater than the engine stroke. So with that, you get less speed of the piston. So it slows down some other aspects as we go along. Piston speed being one of them. As you lengthen stroke versus your RPM, so you're given the same amount of time to do the same amount of work over a greater distance, so piston speed is technically higher. So that's something that we need to be concerned of. So higher rev engines are normally over square. So that's just a thing that is a thing. For this, let's just build like a 350. I want to say they're 4x4s, if I am correct, or is it 425? So that's a 6.5. That's a little big. It's probably 375 then, or something like that. I can't remember what a 350 is because, Lord knows, I don't need one. I don't even need one. I'll stick to my rotary engines. So we're just going to make this pretty basic and bland. Nothing too fun. See, now we're crossing here. So let's actually make this a little over square. So let's go. Let's just see what this does. We might put turbos on this. So a 4-inch piston with a 3 3/4 inch stroke. So it's usually over square. Yada yada yada. Feels good, man. Because we're not going to do a lot, we don't need to do a lot. So a billet still is probably okay in this scenario. We're not really going to over rev it. If this is something that becomes an issue, then yes, we'll be fine. The big one here is lightweight forged on the... Actually, heavy-duty forged on this. I was thinking this was the piston step. So Conrad's heavy-duty forged. We just want the small end to stay on. Pistons. Yeah, there's like different things we can think of here. So lightweight forged is okay. You know, it's good, but it's expensive. So you can see there we have the max RPM, you know, all the way up. But what are our other options? Huh? You know, what is going on here? What are we looking at? Well, we can just stay forged. It does everything we want. It's probably good up to 7,200 RPM. So let's just kind of stay with this. We'll see where we're at. If we have to do some things, we have to do some things. This is going to be a higher compression engine, so we'll immediately go to 11 to 1, which is actually a little much. So let's go 10.5 to 1. It seems about normal. Cam profile, I wish this was like more of a, you know, lift duration spread kind of deal. That would be nice, but it's not. No variable valve timing, none of that fun stuff. Naturally aspirated, cool, looking like an engine. We're gonna go injection here, and this would normally be a multi-point EFI system and single shot with a performance intake. What's the standard? There we go. Here's our small block Chevy. We basically made a small block Chevy, and we want this to be. Let's just run on regular. You know, what are we gonna do here? What are we gonna do here? So exhaust, we'll probably go with short cast, so shouldn't be too much of an issue. And because this is just an engine, let's just go with the normal, you know, things. So right off the bat, we're at 25 horsepower. We have a ton of knocking. Why do we have all this knocking? What's going on? Let's richen this up just a little bit. Okay, so 258 horsepower just right off the bat. That's not bad. That's not bad. We have some RPM to play with as well. Oh, okay, so let's go up to that 7,200. So now we're starting to have some valve float. So we don't have a way to do more valve springs per cylinder or anything like that. So you can get you know, single spring, double spring, triple spring, high beehive style. Just there's like a million different options. So, you know, what do? Do we risk it for the biscuit? Do we need 7,200 RPM? Is that what we're really looking for? Everything else is pretty okay. But as you can see, the power has already dropped off. So we can actually pull this back. Let's pull it back too. So we're at 7,000 RPM red line. Now, in some situations, there is value having some power drop off here. So some over rev, right? You can safely over rev this engine. Like, it's not going to hurt it. We need to add a little bit more fuel. Did that really? You're going to be like that? Okay. So yeah, not too bad. We're running 11.8 and standard timing. So this is kind of it's a normal V8 engine. And this is your normal, you know, nothing fun, just this come in a pickup, you know, kind of engine. So we got almost 300 foot-pounds of torque. But what's this say? Engine running too rich. Oh, that sucks. So, what happens if we start? See if we got knocking back. So let's make this as efficient as possible. So we're getting there. So as you see, we're gaining here. We've got almost 300 foot-pounds of torque now. So we're making this leaner. Okay, so leaner means it's going to be a hotter burn. So we have to fiddle with the burn with ignition timing. You'll see the knocking start to become an issue whenever you're either too lean or too advanced in your timing. So if we go up, see, we've already got timing issues, so we're causing knocking. Okay, makes sense. Everybody clears mud, you know, that kind of thing. So why are we gaining power when we're adding less fuel? Well, we're making it more storage. So the closer that we can get to this, or a little bit on the, just a little bit of the lean side. You can actually make a little bit more power. But there's a downfall that if you don't have enough fuel there to kick off the burn, power might be greater, but the density of it doesn't have enough to really kick off and start the rotation. So there's a very fine line there. Then you got to worry about, travel across your flame front on top of the piston, just all kinds of stuff. Okay, just all kinds. So let's just see where we're going to end up. We're at 10% fuel efficiency because reasons. Yeah, that kind of sucks. So we're at 10.9. Let's see if we can get this back here. Okay, I got 301 foot-pounds of torque. I mean, this is going to be just a torquey engine. So, and this is all standard stuff. So let's run this down to about 13.4 and pull all of the timing out of it. Okay. So we're on the opposite of the end of things now. So we've lost horsepower, we lost torque. Why? Not enough ignition timing. We're slowing it all down. We gained 3% on the fuel efficiency. It's whatever to me at this point. So we just kind of pulled our way back. Let's bring this back about 12.7. Okay, see, nothing happened. We lost power. Right? So our density inside the chambers is fine, right? So we're gaining power, gained a little bit more, more. Oh, did we see that drop? So 245.9, 245.9, 245.7, 49, or 245.9, 245.2. So what happens if I give a little bump in timing? Oh, there's some. We dropped off, but our torque looked like it raised. Yeah, we gained some torque. And one. Let's start bringing it back into it. And we'll just kind of walk this guy up until we start seeing some negative dives here. Oh, got a little bit of knocking right there. Okay, so we're 301, 266.5. Now, we could sit here and fiddle with these numbers all day, and I could, fiddle around with it. Or I could just go like that. So, this is our current expectation. So, the exhaust, let's go ahead and change this around. What happened? What happened to our exhaust? Why did changing it from this to this change the curve so much? This is for the pipes, right? So we're just kind of, hanging out here. Where if we run single, does it actually model it? No, it doesn't really model it. Oh, yes, it does. It's coming down and around. See it here? We're coming down around past the dyno, back on this end. Okay, so if we run dual, we're out this way. Now here is the fun part. What has more flow? 2 2-inch diameter pipes or 1 4-inch exhaust pipe? It's a 1 4-inch exhaust pipe. Okay, but it has the highest theoretical horsepower. It does not have the most torque. Okay, so I don't know how the game is modeling its exhaust flow. If you clicked on this video and thought this was going to be like, yeah, you're just going to do this and slide these sliders and boom, 10 billion horsepower. No, we're actually getting into this. So, exhaust flow, scavenging, velocity, restriction inside of it, build up over RPM. So, if we wanted to look at it in gallons of air moved per minute, these things affect the amount of flow the exhaust system can have. So, what are we doing with this engine? Well, we're obviously trying to build it for torque because reasons, right? So, We're at single, okay? So what happens with a single 2-inch exhaust? Well, the exhaust is being just crammed through here, right? So the engine is having to act as more of an air pump than it is, and is using its power to overcome the restriction in the exhaust to move that, again, let's say gallons of air out the exhaust pipe, right? So it's doing its best. It's just hammered along. Oh man, Dad, this is all I got, dude. This is all I got. This is all I can do. Moving this out. I'm trying to blow bubbles with a straw right now, and it ain't working, right? So if we want more torque, you know, we can see we have peak torque here, right? 2,000 RPM, dude. You're just hanging out. You're on the highway, just bombing down the highway at 2,000. You're not using any horsepower. You're using all the torque of the engine. It's going to be pretty fuel efficient right there, right? Okay, so if we want to keep it single, okay, so we just have to up the size a little bit. Not too awful much. So duals, what's happened? Well, the peak torque gets moved over here. What's our torque right here? So at 2,000, we actually lost torque. Let's make sure that this is true. Okay. So, did we? No, it's actually modeled correctly. Good job, automation. Okay. So we've actually just shifted up the power rating, right? But as you can see, this kind of falls off and then dives up this way. Okay. So we're in that realm of being inefficient with our single setup because the torque is the same between here and here. So we're at 2,000. So 290.2, right? I mean, it's going to be within just a hair. No, it shows a little bit more. So, okay. So pretty close, even though peak torque's up here. So we've moved our peak torque. So we want to keep it. We want to keep it nice. We want to keep this thing kind of nice. What's she at on decibels? 31. Okay. What happens when we go to duals? 40. Okay. So single exhaust it is. How much are we going to have to move this up? Let's go to get the same effect. 3.25. Okay. So 3.25. What's our peak torque? Really? Is that true? So we've dropped off in our peak torque, but we've gained 8 up here versus the other system. But you can see our power level starting to rise here. What happens? Can we keep going? Can we keep going? Can we keep going? Oh, now there's the power. So now the exhaust is just falling out of the cylinders at this point. It's not getting. I think the term that people use these days is scavenged. You could also call it cavitation if you wanted to, if we were talking about exhaust being a fluid. Okay, so we can look at that in different ways. So the single exhaust, 4.75 inch, that can move actually a lot of gallons a minute. So just so you know, that's the thing. So we're at 383. Okay, let's pull this back. Okay, so what are we at? 369 and 385. What happens if I take and make a full dual? See, the power falls off. Okay, power falls off. We're starting to get these very weird fluctuations, so we're not having rising torque. You can see the torque curve goes up and flattens off, and then takes back up again. So it's not too terribly efficient. So we're 385, 369. Let's just get this right where I want it. We should be. What's the 3-inch exhaust do? 350? Is that where I want it? Where do I want this? Trying to avoid a peak. I want rising torque. This one's a lot smoother. So we've used the exhaust to move some stuff around. Okay. So, you know, it's a little louder, I guess. What happens here if we go down a little bit? Yeah, this pulls it back. That pulls it back. So that's a thing. I think we leave it at 3 3/4 inch, maybe 350, and we kind of 2 here. Again, we're not using, you know, the biggest things, but bypass valves in it because, of course, we could. So what what have we made? What have we done? It's looks okay. So let's figure out how it runs. See how quick that comes on? Sounds like old boy. He's mid, 40s. He's at midlife crisis. He's in a way here. So exhaust is restricted because of reasons. We're up. What are we at? 6,300 RPM. You're gonna have a little bit of restriction there. It's fine. Don't worry about it. This is technically a pretty good engine. Can we get any more out of it? Can we make it? Oh, huh. We changed things. So imagine that. And we can get some more. And some more. And some more. And some more. And more. How much more can I get? Oh, there's a fall off. There's a fall off. So, right there. Right there. That's a good curve. And this thing should cross the 5250. So, crosses right where it should. Good. Good job, game. Good job, game. Yeah, that's looking just a treat. So we've got an almost 400 horsepower and 400 foot-pound torque engine that revs out to 7,100 RPM. That's a pretty good motor. This is more than a truck motor now. This is sports car levels, right? And we're on 91 RON. NA. This is not, too much here. What's the material cost? $1,700. Whoop-de-doo. How much would this actually, cost you? That's something I don't know. So this is the 2020 350 high torque. So we'll go with this. She's got some pretty beefy torque there. This thing would move a lot of things. So where do we go from here as far as tuning an engine? So there's a few different things you could do. Really. We can look at changing this thing around. What does adding a little bit more compression do? Oh, get some more. Now we got some knocking. Compression's too high. Cylinder pressure's too high. So cylinder pressure's high, then it's a little funky, right? So let's pull 2 degrees of timing, 3 degrees of timing out. Nothing really happened there. We didn't gain anything by changing our compression. Did we at all? I think we gained 2. Whoop-de-doo. We gained 2. We could pull this back. So as you can see, pulling this. What's this? Engine is not knocking. Like what? Wait, where is this engine knocking? Game, you're on crack. Whatever. So 404 or 2. So we can pull this. We can use the cam profile to pull it back into where we want it. So if we really wanted to. Why are you knocking with less cam timing? Cam timing over. Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess it would be. This game is actually pretty good about what we're trying to do. So 404 at what's that? 6,200 RPM. Man, we don't even need this RPM anymore. So we can pull this back. There we go. 6,800 RPM, 404 foot-pounds of torque at 4,200 RPM. Not too shabby. What do we say? We keep bringing her back. Does anything happen? Oh, all of a sudden it starts knocking really bad. Let's we're just using this as an example. Let's throw a shade more fuel at it. Okay, so the fuel economy goes down. What happens if we pull this back and a little timing out of it? We're at 14% on our fuel efficiency. I wish I knew what this metric was. I'm probably too much of an idiot to see what it actually does. I don't know. Let's see here. Flow, stress. I don't care. Yeah, our efficiencies aren't that good. We're only 16%. Yeah. Total torque. Yeah, it's not too good. Not too good. So there's ways to get around this. So we can fatten her up, put a little bit more timing in it. Do we get more? No. Let's pull some of these numbers back. 14.6. 14.3. 14.4. 14.4, and it start to get the knock region. So not too bad, not too bad. 405. Let's go ahead and knock this back. Can I get some more? No. Just trying to get the most out of it. So we're at 14.1. You know, that's fine. That's fine. Not too shabby. Not too shabby at all. So as you see, we tuned for a curve that we wanted. We made basically a modern engine with multi-point EFI and all the catalytic converter stuff. So it's a pretty good, well-rounded, you know, everyday kind of engine to me. I believe that this would be very comfortable to drive, and be, you know, good around town. I know that the values seem inflated, but these are kind of the average gas motors for this size anymore. You know, we could go direct injection and really clean it up, but you know, this is how I would tune an NA engine in this format. So you know, we can save this. Okay, so let's go back into Duke, and we want to do this, and let's turn it into a turbo. So 350 turbo, not going to be confused with the transmission. So we're at 408 horsepower, or 408 foot-pounds torque. So now let's make this different. Let's make this fun. Let's make this be snappy. It's going to be really skewed right now. Most people are going to tell you to go to ball bearing. For our deal today, we're going to stick with this. So we're going to try not to touch any of this. We might lower the compression a bit. It is 10.7, but we will be adding all of the fun things. Okay, so we're already right here. So what's up with this curve? You know, yeah, it peaks hard. It peaks really hard right now, which is okay. But, and our fuel efficiency even come up. That was probably due to a few other things. Direct injection single. I don't know what that means, because you can't direct inject single. It should be directly injected. So multi-point EFI, what happens? Nothing. The fuel rails don't even change. What's this? Oh, wait a minute. They're saying direct injection as spark plugs. That's not right. This is your rail. So what happens when we change that to cylinder? No, this is not how this works. This is not how this works. I guess I never paid attention. So what happens? Do we want this? Looks a little weird. Them volumes are a little bit weird. The runners are weird. This is weird. Full plug is very weird. So yeah, things are weird. Things are weird right now. So we could look at, where are we at? 498. Okay, exhaust. The exhaust is going to be in the way. Let's go ahead and smack that up to 4.5. What do we have? Engine is knocking. Of course it is. So we, you know, if we go back down to what? 1.75, and it's not knocking. Yeah, you got 505, you know, foot-pounds of torque. Is that it? Yeah, 506. Whoop-de-doo. Go up 1, go up 2, go up 3. Yeah, we're 511 with knocking. What happens if we? Yeah, 519. So we can see that our fuel mixture here is not changing anything on our fuel curve. So we're running right where we need to be. if I change the timing, you can see how the curves are changing as well, right? So everybody's good. Everybody understand? Clear as mud. Yada yada yada. You're not going to run this on 95. We're going to run this, or on 91. We're going to run this on premium. And let's go ahead and just bump up this, and you see how much farther we can go? It's nutty, right? So 91 Ron won't even 100% knock. 95 Ron, so premium gas, 535. But now we got this. It's being very weird. Our power is not coming on correctly. So we've got a lot of torque right off of idle. Boom. You know, it's going to drive good. Then, okay, so we're going nothing and everything. So what do we do to fix it? Well, this is set right. This is going to be where a lot of our fiddling's going to come in. So how do they want to say AR is in this game? Okay, the description in the game is very weird. So this is the aspect, is it actually the aspect ratio? I want to say that sounds correct. I can't remember. Believe it or not, I flunked my ASE performance part. That's why it took me longer to get my master's. Yay. So you know, we can start fiddling with these things. You can see, you know, the curve starts to flatten out. Just fine, you know, 11 pounds in boost is fun, I guess. But what happens when we start changing these other things? Oh, well, that's getting smoother. It's because we're slowing it down. We're not just spiking it, right? So it's starting to, you know, go like this. But we pull this way back. Okay, one is in the way because the compressor's like the size of a nickel right now. But if we start, it'll start coming online here. Okay, so we start to get this swell of power. Nothing. The compressor's coming online, and I'm out. So lost this load. You know, pop this chub right there. Then we're falling off. So it's not too efficient. So now we're bringing it up, right? So now we're losing peak torque. That's where we wanted to be. Remember, peak torque is fun. Torque is fun. Having a horsepower curve a little bit is even better. Turbine side, are they just calling it the exhaust side? Yes. Okay. So the energy scavenging part of it. So this is going to affect the amount of spool up. Larger requires more energy. So the turbine has to capture the energy and bring the hot side of the turbo up to speed. Once the hot side's up, you start compressing air. Okay. You also have to look at tip speed. Where it's going to land out on the efficiency island. Yada yada yada. That's like really way too in depth to even to go into here, right? So we're running a bigger turbine than the compressor. This is general for some applications. Okay. So we're gaining torque, and we're just going to flatten out that curve. Okay, now we've lost all kind of power, right? So we've lost some torque, right? So we really haven't gained anything. So it's too big. Now we can tune for this. So we go here, and is that the most efficient? It's looking to be the most efficient. Can we bring it back with more fuel? Now, RON rating's going down. Okay. What if we go this way? No. Okay. No, we crossed. We crossed. There it is. So, starting to smooth out the torque curve. Power curve's okay. It's starting to smooth it out a little bit. Fuel efficiency's here. Our RON is at 91. We could probably pull a little bit of fuel out of this thing. We pull a little bit of fuel out. About 12.3. Can I get any more out of it? Yeah. I'm running almost max timing right now. So we're max ignition timing. It's just, that's where that compressor is going to lie now, because it's not building it, right? So if we continue, can I fatten it until she starts? Wow. Right there, 11.4. Let's keep her at 14.5. So we're 400 and something odd. Now let's pull the turbine back a little bit. Okay, we got a little bit of knocking. Let's pull the timing back by about 6 clicks. Go ahead and pull this turbine back. Okay, so we're starting to get a trough here again. So we've torque. She's going to flatten out. This is going to be like your drivability portion, okay? This is what's going to tell you if a motor's drivable. I'm not looking at horsepower, right? For this engine, we're not caring about max horsepower. Horsepower is okay. It's whatever. We can always get more horsepower. If the torque curve is smooth, then the engine will drive well, okay? So outside of people wanting to do max horsepower challenges, if you want to make a good driving car, this is what you're going to do. So let's pull this back up a little bit. Oh, no, she don't like that. What if I pull it back? No, she's starting to knock. Let's pull a little bit more timing out of it. $526. So this is our usability range right here. This is how this is gonna, piddle fart around. You're just gonna very useful. Horsepower's barely even coming on, and then all of a sudden I want to get into it. I need to go on this. So then you'll have a strong pull and torque. All right, up until when they cross at 5250. You're gonna have that. They're gonna cross. So you're gonna come up. She's gonna be real strong. And then we're gonna let the horsepower carry us the rest of the way. Okay. So this is gonna be a pretty fun little tire burner. Okay. So can we get a little bit more? A little bit? Can I get some more fuel efficiency out of it? Can we make it more fun? It's not looking like it too much. Okay, so what's our compression at right now? Compression, we want it to stay a little as high as we can. I'd like to say a little higher. Let's just run it up to 11.1. And let's go and pull some timing. Where were we at? 526, yeah? 527? 529? 529? It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. That's probably gonna drive pretty good. That's a pretty good curve. She's not troughed out. Okay, let's go ahead and keep banging away at these numbers here. What happens if I just... Yeah, nothing happens. So we're gaining. That's not the trough I want. Yeah, see, we're in the realm of not gaining anything right there. So let's go 15 pounds of boost. So we're 532. Let's go and pull this AR back. And now the trough's getting too big. Let's just go ahead and smooth her out. Make it fun. Make it usable. So 500 foot-pounds of torque. Oh god, we lost 20 foot-pounds of torque. I didn't even look at the horsepower. Did we gain or lose horsepower? Yeah, a little bit. Lost a little bit. Not too bad. Almost 500 horsepower engine. We can probably tune for it if we really want to. Let's pull this turbine up a little bit. No. Let's get back. Let's get that usable torque. She's starting to knock. 530. 14.6 on our efficiency. It's got a real smooth curve right here where you're going to drive it all day. People don't understand that's, just a thing, right? You're just going to drive there. It's not going to be, too awful bad. And this is just using, standard different things. So we actually had 364 horsepower intercooler on it. Oh, now we got some knocking again. So how much is that varying at? Do we want to mess with this? Let me pull a little bit more torque out. A little bit more timing. Let's add a little bit bigger intercooler. Can we get this over 500 horse? That's going to be the question. Is she going to take a little bit more fuel? Here we go. Can we get 500, 550? 500, 550? Where can I find it? Where can I find 500 and 550 with standard stuff? Well, this is still good here. This is still usable. She's going to come on pretty strong. I mean, we basically made a turbo engine, so of course it's going to come in strong. Can I just go? How about the other way? Nope. Not having that. Gonna get one of these. 550, 501. There we go. We've tuned it. It feels pretty good. Pretty good. And we're not stressing anything yet, are we? Where are we at? So she's hanging out there all right? Intercoolers in the way, huh? So what's going to happen here is if you stayed here all day, I know it says airflow restricted, so horsepower requirements of an intercooler are made in different ways. You can look at the capacity of the intercooler, so how much energy it can convert from hot air to cooler air. So there's a size there. And then also we need to look at a few other things as what is the word? That's gonna bug me. So the total amount of pass-through. So there's bar and plate, there's like radiator style intercoolers, there's water to air. The official size of it being in the way is very it's not like a good way to look at it, okay? So it is what it is. It might be too small for the game, but it's probably sized because you're not going to be at there all day, So right there is where it's saying it was over, right? Yeah, right there, a little bit. So, are you gonna sit there all day? Is that what you want to do? Is just kind of hang out there? No, you're not going to. You're gonna be like this. That's how you're gonna drive this car. Okay. So, does this make sense to everybody? I kind of hope it does. This was an hour long of me just talking about tuning. The biggest thing you gotta remember is, make sure that these things are correct. So, if we really want to start pushing the engine, we can start looking at other things. If you guys want to learn more about this stuff, please, leave a comment down below, and we can talk about more things. Smaller engines and getting the most out of those, or small engines that do different things, okay? Or bigger engines that do different things, or just however you want to talk about an engine to be tuned. We've always said in our house that 400 horsepower is enough. We just made 550 foot-pounds of torque and 500 horsepower. This thing would be a blast to drive, okay? If you want to see this in a car, like the video, and yeah, we can put it in something, maybe like a T-Bird or something like that. And yeah, that's it, guys. I don't have anything else for you to do today, so let me know. Bye bye.